Good afternoon, everyone. It's 3:30. We'll call this afternoon's meeting of the Diversion Authority Board of Authority to order. Mayor Mahoney is not with us today. He asked that I act as chair today. So with that, we will do a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Jardis.
Here.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mr. Peterson. Mr. Hendrickson.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn. Mr. Ebbinger.
Here.
Mr. Strand. Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Sherling.
I'm here.
Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Olson.
Here.
Mr. Selzewald.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Hey, Mahoney's here too. We're just remote.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Don. Item number 2, approve minutes from June 22nd.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The same-
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign? Motion carried. Item number 3, approve order of agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, the same sign? Motion carried. The next is the consent agenda, approving the following: finance report, voucher approval, 2023 cash budget, DA board approval contract actions, and MOUs and agreements. Is there a motion to approve the consent?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mayor Jardis.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Aye.
Mr. Ebbinger.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
Mr. Selzewald.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Okay, Don, if the record can show that
Mr. Strand, thank you.
Mr. Strand is present. Thank you. All right, item number 4, Executive Director Report. Joel, is he online? Joel? Martin, you gonna pinch yet? Okay.
Are you?
Members of the board, Martin Nicholson. Joel is and was on the phone, so something may have happened to his connection. Short report today. 3 real main happenings. You are likely aware that Joel delivered testimony on the project to the U.S. Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works on July 20th. That presentation and back and forth with the Senate Committee was well received, at least according to posts made by Senator Kramer after the fact. So it was welcomed by the Senate Committee that's looking at the current Word of Bill. The quarterly P3 meeting was held with North American Construction Group hosting in Edmonton, and John Shockley, Joel, and myself had, I think, probably one of our better and productive discussions with the leadership with respect to the status of the project and their plans for moving forward. And the last item is we are preparing for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to turn over the diversion inlet structure to the Diversion Authority sometime in October. May be a little later than that or a little earlier than that, but that's kind of the target date. And that what that means is that the Diversion Authority would then be responsible for the operations and maintenance of that facility now that it's through construction. And that concludes the Executive Director report.
All right, any questions of Martin? All right, thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Item number 5, General Counsel update. John, nothing today? All right, very good, thank you. Item number 6, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project update. Terry?
Good afternoon, board members. My apologies for the sound issues last month. I'm trying somewhere this month with better connectivity, and I know everybody experiences computer issues, but I really apologize for that. This is the monthly update for July. As Martin said, diversion inlet structure, we're preparing to turn that over when the home stretch at 95% complete, so up a couple percent from last month. Ongoing activities, painting, riprap placement, seeding, working on the control building and parking lot, and really knocking off some of those remaining punch list items. The turnover in October, we're trying to target the week of 23 October. This, like Martin said, this could slide a little bit depending on how this goes, but a lot of interest from above the district to the headquarters and above, even because this is one of the first projects completed using the bill money. Number 2, Wild Rice River structure, 91% complete, up from 86 last month. The big thing going on there is building that earthen dam and stability berm across the old Wild Rice River channel. Number 3, the I-29 raise, 78% complete. Preparing to turn traffic over to the new southbound lanes. I think that's in progress, and the County Road 18 ramps, I believe, are closed to assist with that. Number 4, which is Reach SC1, we turned that over quite a bit. What's going on now is getting that draft O&M manual to the Diversion Authority for review. That is probably not going to happen late July. Looks like it'll be the first week in August when we should get that over to you guys for review. Number 5, the Red River structure. We're up at 24% now complete, 20% last month. And what I'm really excited for here is that I think they're forming up the abutments. So we're really going to see how tall this structure is going to be compared to the other two. And pretty exciting times at the Red River structure. Number 6, Drain 27, that plantings contract. What they're doing is performing some weed control and preparing the site for a fall planting with the permanent plants there and establishment of the wetland. For number 7, Drayton Dam mitigation, they're going to start placing the boulders for the Rock Arch Rapids, it looks like next week. And the Minnesota DNR is going to kind of school them a bit, the contractor a bit, give them some tips and pointers on perfect boulder placement out there. So that's exciting as well. And that should continue through most of August, placing those Rock Arch Rapids. Number 8, Reach SE2A, contractors making good progress. 112th Avenue was permanently closed. That's, of course, the first main road north of County Road 16. Number 9, on to all of our ongoing design efforts. Nothing has changed since last month except the SE5, that 65% review is going to start in August. That's moved out a couple of weeks from July into August. And that's the major changes for our design work. With that, is there any questions?
Any questions of Terry? Okay, thank you, Terry. All right, our next item is Tom, you going to give an update for us?
Thank you, Commissioner Campbell, members of the board. I will present the design and construction update for the stormwater diversion channel. Starting with design, review cycles surpassing 1,500 reviews to date. 61 of our approved designs are utilities, 37 others for a total of 98 released for construction designs to date. Construction, lots of work going on all reaches we've touched to date, basically County Road 32 west all the way back to the outlet. I'll start, however, with the bulleted points here for the new features under construction this month. Now includes the diversion outlet. We are picturing that in this month's footage. And then 2 railroad shoe flies. Shoe flies basically the bypass for construction of the bridge. So that work is now underway at BNSF Hillsboro. That's right near I-29 north of town, and also BNSF Prosper subdivision near County Road 20. 30 to 60 day outlook. Channel reaches 4 through 8. Those are shown in green, kind of on the west, green and purple on the west extents of the channel. In actuality, since this map was finalized, we have now started work in Reach 4. The goal is this this summer and throughout the construction season, our normal construction season, the focus will be to get the levee line of protection constructed. That's weather sensitive, so that the channel excavation can proceed like we saw throughout the winter months. And so that'll be all the way from County Road 22 down to essentially I-94. We should see the levee construction stretch out that far is the goal. Additionally, Drain 29 just on the horizon for starting there. Berlin, Raymond Township drain inlets, as well as Drain 14C just on the horizon, and many more crossings. We're starting to see those. We'll see additional bypasses, surcharge embankments. County Road 20, 10, 38th Street, and 52nd Avenue are planned for the next 30 to 60 days. One additional note, County Road 4 and 31 was actually started last fall before this map existed, so we'll be sure to update that in our next publication of this map. So just wanted to point that out. That's it for the diversion channel. I'll stand for any questions.
Questions for Tom? Do you have drone footage today?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Some FM area diversion project components were getting finishing touches this month, while work on other parts is just beginning. I'm Tom Fuchs, the Metro Flood Diversion Authority's Senior Construction Manager, with this month's construction update. The diversion inlet structure is nearing completion as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers prepares to turn over the structure to MFDA later this year. Once the entire diversion project is operational, gates on the structure that's south of Horace, North Dakota, will open to allow floodwater to enter the stormwater diversion channel and pass safely around the metro area. Ames Construction, the contractor building the structures, has been busy completing the finished grading around the site, as well as installing fencing, gates, and lighting at the control building. On the structure itself, crews have been installing stairs, railings, catwalks, as well as mechanical equipment, electrical controls, and wiring. The remaining portions of the structure, including the gates, are also getting a coat of paint. East of the structure, Industrial Builders, another Corps of Engineers contractor on the project, is raising a 4.2-mile stretch of the interstate out of the 500-year floodplain. We can see work is wrapping up at the Borrow Ditch bridges and along the new southbound lanes of I-29. Once the paving, topsoiling, signage, and striping are completed, traffic will shift to the new lanes as the contractor moves on to finishing the northbound lanes. Farther north, our public-private partnerships construction arm, ASN Constructors, continues excavating the 30-mile-long stormwater diversion channel. To date, more than 6 million cubic yards have been moved. As the channel excavation progresses, work continues north of Harwood, North Dakota, where wick drains are being installed at the approaches to the new County Road 81 bridge. At this site, construction on multiple embankments is also underway, creating temporary bypasses for I-29 and County Road 81, and a temporary bypass or shoe fly at the BNSF Hillsboro subdivision rail line. Once completed, traffic will move off the existing alignments to make way for 4 new bridges spanning the completed stormwater diversion channel. Further east, ASN Constructors broke ground on the diversion outlet, where the downstream end of the stormwater diversion channel meets the Red River. The diversion outlet will eventually feature a rock arch rapid structure covering the last 4.5 acres of the channel in more than 30,000 tons of riprap. For perspective, that much riprap would cover 9 feet of shoreline around the entire circumference of Minnesota's Detroit Lake to a depth of 1 foot. The project will also contain a series of 22 boulder weirs to prevent erosion and provide biological connectivity once the project is operational. You can stay up to date on all these areas as well as others by following the project on social media or subscribing to the Diversion Current at www.fmdiversion.gov/subscribe.
All right, next we have item number 7, communications update. Amy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members of the board. As you saw, we've got some new videos out, the drone footage, but also our last Faces of the Diversion was a crane operator with Ames Construction, and he's also a union member. Really fun interview to do, and it's gotten quite a bit of play due to all of his connections. And we also completed an animated video to show some of the number comparisons to put it in perspective given the scale of this project. We have a number of new visual assets that we're beginning to use as well. We did our second flight for some aerial imagery to get a lot higher than what we can do with the drone, and it really shows a great perspective of more of the project and how it all comes together. So you'll start to see some of those soon. We're also working to get some more photographs on the ground. So we have some wild rice river structure photos. And we hope to be telling this story a little bit more of our partners and how experienced they are. So we were able to get some photos recently of the North American Construction Group and some of their experience in the excavation area. And then we're also preparing for quite a few tours that are coming up late summer, early fall. So we updated that tour handout. On the right, you'll see our numbers again for the diversion current, which continues to perform very well with very high open rates and click-through. So it's nice to see that continued interest. That's all I have for you today, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions of Amy? All right, thank you. Land management update, Jody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner, members of the board. So on this first slide, you're going to see the two maps that we generally bring forward to you. I want to kind of point out more on the left-hand side. You're going to see a lot of green. All that green indicates that we have acquired the necessary property rights for the project. Also to note is everything that's within the boundaries of the channel. Again, all of those negotiations have been settled. We're just waiting for those to close, and I do anticipate most of those to close by early fall. On the next slide, you're going to see an update for the construction footprint. You're going to see an increase of 5.3% month over month for that. And of course, in the upstream mitigation area, again, an increase of 1.1%. The next slide breaks it down a little bit more for each of the components of the project. The southern embankment and associated infrastructure, that's gone up 3.2%. The UMA, again, has gone up a little over 1%. And the stormwater diversion channel looks like it went down 0.5%. It didn't actually go down. We just added some additional parcels in that as a result of an MOU. On the next slide, then, you can see that we break it down for the construction footprint for the landowner and the UMA. I do want to thank particularly the Cass County Joint Board. This morning, we had a very productive meeting where they approved 23 parcels involving 5 landowners. And of course, at the Moorhead Clay County meeting today, they did approve an additional parcel with additional landowners. So in total, 24 parcels involving 6 landowners were approved for between the various boards today. And again, that takes a concerted effort with our land agents, our land team, and in particular, and some of those that were involved today in the Cass County Joint Board meeting, a lot of legal counsel input from both Onstead Twitchell, but also Larkin Hoffman, who takes on those cases where Onstead Twitchell conflicts out. On the acquisition status report, then on the very last slide, we continue to have negotiations. I apologize I wasn't able to make the Moorhead Clay County meeting today. I was negotiating with legal counsel representing about 70 of the landowners in the UMA. And then again, last month, we successfully closed on 3 parcels involving 2 landowners, and we did sign some agreements. So the Cass County Joint Board meeting did authorize batch 9. That does involve 11 property owners. However, one of those was approved this morning, so I do believe that would drop down to 10 property owners. We continue to focus on coordinating the completion of the appraisals in Minnesota. I know that board approved 13 appraisals today. Those offer letters will go out immediately, and then we'll have a special board meeting on August 11th to finalize all the appraisals in Minnesota. And then, of course, we completed our farmland leases for 2023. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Any questions?
Jody, this is Mary Sherling. I just have one question, if I may, Chair.
Sure, go ahead, Mary.
I just wondering, are we on schedule? Do we have everything that the Corps needs on time? I appreciate all the hard work everyone's doing, but I know it's a challenge to get it wrapped up timely.
So Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Sherling, and members of the board, it's a good question. It's something that I'm cognizant of. So if we look at the SE2B schedule, we are slated to hand over all the real estate next April, so April of 2024. We have the majority of that property ready to be handed over. There are a couple of parcels, so there are 4 parcels involving 3 property owners that are in eminent domain that we're working towards either settlement or going through the eminent domain process. The Corps is aware of those parcels that are in that position, and there may be some challenges with being able to meet that deadline if we're not able to reach settlement with them. And so that's something that we do communicate with them on regularly. Then if you look at SE3, there is 1 parcel that we're still in negotiations that was in the batch 9 today, authorizing the last written offer and potential eminent domain. There are good faith effort negotiations going on with the land agent and that property owner. So we do anticipate being able to hand over that real estate in a timely fashion. SE4 and SE5, the expectation that SE5 would be handed over in November of 2023. However, we will hand over all Minnesota properties at one time, and that is scheduled for March of 2024. And so that will allow them to stay on their schedule for SE4 and SE5 as they have, I think Terry kind of went over some of those construction schedules earlier. So some of it is a little bit delayed, but still hopefully within time frame that they'll be able to complete the construction in time.
Oh, very good. Thank you. What about budget? Are we on budget?
That's next month, Commissioner Sherling. So I do think that we anticipate bringing something forward for next month. So I've been going through the land acquisition directives. My focus has been honestly on the channel since we've closed those up. It's a little bit more challenging for me to predict the budget within the upstream mitigation area, only because we've only closed on about 40% of those. So we'll still bring that forward with an estimate if we'll be on budget or not. However, that one's a little bit more of a swag than those that were able to kind of button those up. So I know it didn't directly, that was a very political answer. I didn't actually answer your question while answering your question, but.
Well, and I believe we're going to be getting a budget update hopefully soon.
That would be,
Okay.
So it is anticipated I'll be bringing a presentation forward at the planning committee. So that'd be August 9th. We'll also bring it forward to the finance committee, which would be August 23rd. And then we'll present it to this board on August 24th.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, for those questions. And just to follow up too, from the standpoint of the MCC GAPA, I know that I've asked for in the past too, when we get these final offers that we come through, it's nice to know how that offer has been fitting in with the budget for lands. And I think it's important for us at the MCC JPA level, just like it is at Cass County Joint Water Resource District, to have an idea of, as we go and we make an agreement to acquire some property, we want to make sure that we're still following within the lines of the budget that we've been given to use.
Correct.
So, okay, thank you. Item number 9, finance update. Mayor Dartis.
Finance Committee met yesterday. On our finance report, there's $175,032,376 in our net position. We have about $71 million that we've spent so far this year. And I remind you of our cash budget is about $233,798,782 for 2023. There was one issue that was discussed at length, and that was with regard to, if you go back up onto the agenda, was the insurance BCR-016. A bit confusing and to understand everything that's going on there, but it's basically a switch of dollars. It's about a $5.5 million, and there's really not an expense now. It's just in which calendar year that we're going to have that expense. We also had an MOU agreement that brought forth by Mr. Shockley, which was technical requirements that were outlined with no additional costs. And Mr. Fuchs also had a issue with WP47A, a recommendation to reject the bid. They came in at 239% over and above the engineer's estimate. So the Finance Committee, at his recommendation, we declined the bid, and there's discussions going on with the bidders, and they'll probably be rebid in the very near future. That concludes my report. I stand for any questions.
Mayor Darderson, on the agenda here, does that call for action by the full board to reject that bid?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe it does, yes, sir.
So I'd be looking for a motion.
And with regard to the questions of earlier about our lands, we're very much looking forward to the August 23rd meeting because honestly, it's anticipated that we're going to have another adjustment in our budget.
Okay.
So I would so move that we reject the bid 4P47A.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Tom, did you want to touch more on that?
Nothing to add unless maybe there's further questions.
Okay. Do we have any further questions? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Mayor Dardis,
Yes?
Mayor Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Ebinger,
Yes.
Mr. Strand,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling,
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg,
Aye.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Mr. Salzweedl.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I neglected to mention that the financial audit or report that is being sent out, and that will be for everyone's review at next month's meeting. We do have it, but we didn't have much time to review it, so it will be considered next month.
Very good, thank you. All right, item number 10, any other business to rep for the board? Any other business? All right, with that, the next scheduled meeting of the Diversion Authority, Board of Authority will be on August 24th. With that, we will,
Kevin, can't you go on a little longer? This is way too efficient.
yeah, I know, I'm just trying to prove a point here. With that, Mayor, we are adjourned. 3:50.